Hello guys, I hope we are doing good and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's about a secret to thrive having dyslexia that people don't talk about. I feel so valuable. That's in today's episode. And guys, if you could subscribe, share this podcast, give it to someone who needs to hearing about this stuff. And guys, hope you enjoyed today's episode. So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be, or in other words, conquer their dyslexia? That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast. Hello guys, I hope we're doing alright. Today I'm very excited to have a little conversation about the secret to really thriving having dyslexia. And I'm really excited to talk about this and to discuss this today, because I feel none of this is talked about enough in terms of what I'm going to discuss about the secret of how to thrive having dyslexia. Now, I've seen this pattern time and time again with all the people, for example, like what quote unquote people with dyslexia who have been successful. And now when I'm saying dyslexia, I mean like quite bad dyslexia, faced massive adversity and even came out of it and now want to help other people with dyslexia, because those are people who really face their challenge head on. They say, okay, I've had these difficulties before in the past, and yet I'm going to work really hard, overcome them, and I'm going to overcome them so much that I want to help other people do that. Now, this doesn't have to be a full-time job or whatever. It's just a hobby. It's just a passion of theirs because they know what it takes. And remember, I interviewed like about 15 of these, and I spoke to like many others, and there's this common theme that all of them possess. And that is the secret of how you can thrive having dyslexia. And if you don't have this particular thing, you will find it so hard to really thrive having dyslexia. And no one talks about this. It's funny. It's like you go on all these different dyslexia blogs. You look at all these different things, like people like that. They all talk about the tricks, the tools, the strategies, but there's one thing that I feel is really missing, what people don't talk about. And I kind of knew it before, but I never really talked about it or never really saw how important it is. And I'll give you an example. For example, there's people like who made the Harry Potter books? Not Roald Dahl. What's her name? The person who made the Harry Potter books, you know what I mean? She's very famous, very rich. And she is dyslexic. She's dyslexic, and one thing she took the first Harry Potter book, not Roald Dahl, I keep forgetting her name, really famous girl. But she took it to a publisher, wouldn't accept her. Heartbroken. She took it to another publisher, wouldn't accept it. And to a seventh publisher, they finally accepted it. Now, here's a couple of things. She is dyslexic. She struggled a lot in school with certain things. Do you think if she didn't struggle, she wouldn't have the resilience to keep on trying and failing, But yeah, chances are she probably didn't have that struggle. Didn't have that resilience. Walt Disney, he was dyslexic, and he was so prolific in his lifetimes, making Disneyland, making Disney the TV show. And one thing that was really interesting about Walt Disney, he's such a big visionary. And there's this really famous line when Disneyland finally got built. Unfortunately, Walt Disney passed away. But someone said to his brother, isn't it a shame that he couldn't be alive to see this today? And I honestly think, like, when someone's telling me this, I heard about it and it was a lot more mean than that. And this person said, isn't it a shame that Walt Disney wasn't alive to see this today? Like the Disneyland, what Walt Disney was envisioning and imagining it. And then his brother, he said that to his brother turned around and said to him, no, Walt Disney saw it first, and that's why you are seeing it now. Because he's such an amazing imagination. He made all of these films, all these designs, and such an amazing imagination. He could see Disneyland before it was finished. That's why he could die and still have it finished, and still had things like such a prolific, because he was that bit visionary. Do you think Walt Disney could have made such huge impact in the entertainment industry if he wasn't dyslexic? I personally don't think so. And another person, Steve Jobs, he's dyslexic, a massive great visionary. He's not a tech guy, he is a design guy. He is expert at designing, incredible at running a business, not a very nice person, very bad temperament, but very, very, very prolific in what he does. And you know what I mean? Like created one of the most biggest businesses on earth. He's dyslexic. Now, do you think he could have the visionary? Do you think he could care much about design as everyone else who wasn't dyslexic? No. Another person, Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, he's dyslexic. And do you think, basically, what he was really credited for, of course he's incredibly intelligent. I have not got anywhere near his intelligence, nor has a lot of people. But when he was making all these designs for his creations, not creations, ideas, thought theories, you know what I mean? One of the things he was really, really well known for is turning basically this very complex mathematical equation into a thought experiment. The way he came up with the theory that when you travel at the speed of light, time stops, and you can travel faster at the speed of light, time reverses. He was sitting in an English lesson, looking at the clock, saying from second to second to second, and he was thinking, what happens if I was that light ray going towards the clock? You know what I mean? Well, because first he asked, how am I seeing the clock? Well, the light is going to the clock, bouncing off and going in his eyes. Then he asked the question, what happens if I move at the speed of light? If I go towards the clock at the speed of light, would I see the hand moving? Well, no, you would just be moving at the speed of light. So he said he wouldn't see the hand moving, therefore he wouldn't see like time moving. And then he asked himself a question. It's like, okay, would I just not see the clock move because I'm going at the speed of light, or would I actually time not move? Like time not move if I'm going at the speed of light. And he had this thought theory. It was like, what happens if I go faster than the speed of light? Would time go backwards? And he came up with this thought theory when I was in a maths class, bored out of his mind, and then he obviously backed up with equations and facts and figures. Another thing was, I keep on forgetting that terminology. But basically, it's a thought experiment is about gravitational pulls, about how gravity is very, very like momentum going forward. Very complex set of equations, but how we can describe it so anyone can understand it. He's like, okay, if you imagine a man in a lift out in space, I mean, floating around out in space, then someone took that lift and went a million miles an hour, the person would obviously fall down to the bottom of the lift and feel that pressure, like a G-force. But there's no actual difference between acceleration and gravity. So anyway, this is another thing he invented. He had a couple more thought experiments. But my whole point is, he was incredibly good at making the most complex thing in the world and making them so simple for everyone to understand, or everyone in his kind of like area, if he explained it to him, to get an idea of. And also, here's an interesting thing. He wasn't incredibly good at maths. He made loads of little mistakes in his like foundations, like loads of little maths mistakes in his foundational work. But yet his theories were solid, but he made loads of little mistakes. But my question is that he wouldn't have done those things if he wasn't dyslexic, if he didn't think the same way, think pictures, think visually. If he didn't do that, he would be still incredibly genius, but not the worldwide genius we know him today. Now, here's my thing. All these like 5 people, Walt Disney, Albert Einstein, all these other people, Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, Albert Einstein, and anyway, I've got this list on my computer of all these people that I want to mention here. And anyway, there's a person who created the light bulb. I forget his name. But the whole point is that these people are dyslexic, yes, but there's so many more dyslexic people who aren't nearly as prolific, as successful, as them. Why? Like, what's the difference between them and other people who moan and complain about the dyslexia and think it's the worst thing in the world? What's the difference between the 15 people that I've interviewed for my Conquer Dyslexia Summit, between people going out there, really giving it their all, having these challenges, but yet not letting it stop them and keep on going, and having other people out there who have the same challenges and yet give up? Now, there's one thing, and now this is such a big point that when I realised it, and this is a commonality all of them have, I realised, well, that's it. If you don't have this, if I have to tell you all the advice, all the help, all the support, it will only get you so far. It will never get you to the point where saying, dyslexia is a gift. Dyslexia is not holding me back. Dyslexia is actually helping me in my life. What you need to have dyslexia help you in life is to realise that what you want is worth more to you than the struggles you are facing to get there. Let me say that again. Like, in order to maximize dyslexia and what all these people had, and what all these people I interviewed for the summit, and all these people out there who are going at it, have conquered their dyslexia, has realized what they want is more valuable than struggles they're facing to get there. Because dyslexia, the negative side of dyslexia is the struggles, isn't it? The struggles that we face are the negative sides of dyslexia. Struggles we face emotionally, the struggles we face physically. Those things are negative sides. And are they easy? No. Is it painful? Yes. And will they instantly go away? No. So you have to realize what you want. You want that thing more than the pain you're going through for that. And another way of saying this, you have a reason for your pain. You have a purpose for your pain. Something you want, something you value so much that the pain wouldn't really be such of an issue. I'll give an example. There's this guy, incredible artist. He made this award-winning film. Saying I am dyslexic artist. What's his name? He was on Instagram. This is the thing. I can chat to him like 2 seconds ago and forget his name. Incredible artist. I had him on Mads, that's his name, Mads. I had him on the summit, and he was saying about his story. He failed like 6 times in a test in a school, doing these things, and it was struggles after struggles after struggles. And I was like, why do you keep struggling? Why do you keep struggling? Why do you keep on going to school every single day, even though you failed for the past 5-6 years in a row? And people don't say it, but people don't believe in you. People say you can't do it. Why do you keep turning up? He says, I'm turning up because I want to be an artist. I want to use my art for something. I want to get paid for my gift, which is art. He had something that is worth more to him than his struggle. He had something that is like willing to fail 1,000 times in order to get what he wants. And if you don't have that, you won't be able to face the struggles over and over and over again. Think about it like driving. Like, for example, driving to me is so useful. I love driving. I mean, the to and from work is so much more fast than taking public transport. And if they had to say to me, it took me 3 times to pass my driving test. I think 4, I'm not sure. A funny story, I went to my driving test day and I didn't have the right documents. So that was like a test failed in a sense. But it took me a very long time, like 3 years to pass my driving test. I had to have my theory test twice. Because I passed both times, but there's a 2-year gap. But I wanted to pass my driving test so bad that I was willing to go through all the struggles it took to pass it. Does that make sense? Like, is learning to drive easy? No. Are you going to fail at times? Yes. Is it going to be scary? Yes. Is it going to cost money? Yes. Ultimately, all these struggles we face, all this, like, in a sense, negative stuff, because it's not easy. The reason why we go through that and have a test and fail, like, you mean, like, being humiliated, like, you mean risking, like, looking silly, risking people's, like, opinion on you, judging you. You have to go through all that, which isn't nice. The reason why you go through all of that is to get something at the end. And that thing you want at the end is worth more than the struggles you are facing now. That's the only reason why you keep going at stuff. Like the end product is worth more than the struggles you're facing. Or if you give up now, you say, well, what else is there? You mean, if I give up now, this is like the negative stuff. Like, for example, oh, I don't like feeding my dog, I might have to stop that. Or what's the sacrifice? What's if you're going to feed your dog? Your dog will go and starve and die. That's a bad negative. So that keeps you feeding your dog, even though you don't enjoy doing that action. So I really want some people to realise and that they must have something worth more to them than the struggles they are facing. Now, what am I talking about here? Fundamentally, like if you want to put this into an actionable plan, most people, they don't put it in an actionable plan. They just go out there and they want something and they go for the struggles, and then they get that thing after struggling and failing so much. But once you understand this, I go, okay, I've struggled, I've failed, you have these negative beliefs, I'm in a really bad spot right now, but I know because Theo talks about this, it makes total sense. I must want something more than the struggles that I'm facing day to day now. Okay, what do I want? I want that thing. Okay, how do I get that? And what I'm really talking about here is goal setting. You have to realize, okay, I'm going to set a goal to go and get that thing. And before I talk about all these different strategies can help with fixing all the challenges with dyslexia, you have to have something worth more than the struggles you're facing. That could be just want to live confidently. I just want to be happy. I don't want to waste my life. I don't want to end up like that person, or you mean that person. I don't want to, you mean to end up being poor my whole life, or whatever your motivating factor is, it must motivate you more than the struggles you are facing in order to take action. So you have to set a goal. And there's 4 fundamentals of goal setting. Now, what is a goal? A goal is a goal is just a want. For example, we all set goals. We don't call them goals, but we all set goals. Goals like, oh, I want to have this for dinner. I want to sleep this many hours a night. I want to, get in a relationship with that person. I want to be friends with that person. I want to be, do this at my job. What we want are just goals. It's just a different language. But a goal, you can sort of break it down and be more scientific with it. And the more scientific you are, the more better you are getting that goal. So, say your goal is to be more confident and do better at your job. Okay, that's your goal. Be more confident and do better at your job. First thing with the goal, you have to be very specific. Be better at your job. Okay, what does that mean? I want to get better at these tasks. And being confident, what does that mean? I want to feel good about myself. I want to speak in a meeting. I want to stand up straight, stand up for myself. When people say certain things, I can say certain things back to them and I can hold my own ground. Okay, make a goal specific. That's your specific goal. And why do you want that? Now, this is the meat and bread of everything. Why do you want that? Because if you have strong enough reasons, you'll get through all the rubbish. Remember what I said, if you want something bad enough, we'll get through all the rubbish to get there. So get incredibly strong reasons about it. And the way you do that is you get so much pain to the part, so much pain to not getting that thing, so much pleasure to getting the thing. This is what I used to do when I had such low confidence, couldn't read or write for anything, and all this. I was like, okay, if for example, I literally wrote this down. What will happen if I don't become confident? I will live my life, not being true. I'll miss out on so many opportunities, so many parties. I'll miss out on so many new relationships, either friends, or intimate relationships, girlfriends or whatever. And I would work on all these different things. All these things I would miss out on. I would visualize myself missing out on every single one of them. And I went to the other side. What would happen if I get that? Go and I write down all these things that would happen once I get that goal. I thought, okay, this is it. And this is it. And this made me more motivated to go after it. So that's a good thing for reasons. So that's the second thing. First thing, know exactly what you want. Second thing, have reasons. Third thing, take action. You have to take action. You have to, okay, here are my action plans. This is everything I can do. Here's what I'm going to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and take the actions to get that. If you don't take the actions, you're not making any progress, okay? That's action, goal without action is a dream. It's something you'll never, ever get. You have to take action. And the fourth one is most important, is to take a step back and review, am I getting closer to the goal or not? And oftentimes changing your plan is very, very, very vital. Am I getting closer to this goal? Am I not? And change the plan. And this is a very short, brief lesson on goal setting, as it were, this last bit. But I want to take back to the beginning, which is look, in order to really improve your dyslexia, you have to have something worth more than the struggles you're facing. You have to, because if you don't have something worth more than the struggles you're facing, you'll never ever realize the gift that dyslexia is. And I know you're probably sitting here right now thinking, well, dyslexia is not a gift. I hate people saying that. The only reason why people say that is because they have something worth more than their struggle. I have something worth more than all the struggle I'm facing. The only reason why you don't really feel it's an advantage or as a gift is because you don't have something that's worth the struggle that you're facing. You don't have something that your life has gained. You don't see it like it's a positive. You don't see it like it's a gain in your life. Because you have dyslexia and you know what I mean, like you want these things and you have these obstacles in your way that other people don't have. You have these obstacles, and the way you overcome those obstacles is basically by working harder, finding these strategies. But if you think overcoming those obstacles is always negative, and you think you got here despite your dyslexia, you won't think it was bad. But here's the thing: realize you get there because your dyslexia, because of the struggles you're facing, because it makes you who you are. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you again soon.